What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Fucking nigger. Fucking nigger. Fucking nigger. Fucking nigger.
It's clear as daylight. Hey everyone, David here. So I wasn't going to originally make a video out of this, so I was just gonna stray away from the topic, but the more I thought about it, and the more I started watching other people's videos, some of which were coming to defense of this guy, I thought, you know what, no, alright, this is a part of me, it's kind of representative of something that I love, so I feel like I need to throw my 2 cents in, just like everybody else did, except I'm hoping that maybe this will give people a new perspective on things. So if you in case you haven't heard, it's something broke out that I actually was in the middle of. Like, I wasn't watching it in real time, but it happened while I was on the internet, so I managed to find out some way, whether it be through Discord or through Facebook, something, whatever. There was something bound to come my way within the preceding like few minutes that it happened. So I was kind of watching the whole event somewhat unfold before my eyes, and the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, shit. I'm talking about none other than the most subscribed person on YouTube, the top leading person on YouTube, and that is Pewdiepie. Pewdiepie, in case you haven't heard by now, said the N-word on a live stream, and you obviously saw the little sample there at the beginning of the video, and so many people are just losing their minds, and they have the right to, they have the right to lose their minds, saying, wow, out of all the people. And obviously Pewdiepie is not necessarily a stranger to controversy. There's been so many cases where he's done shit that is supposed to be like a shock jock type of humorous approach to things. The most notable one will have to be the one where he dressed up as a Nazi and he was trying to do something humorous with that, but it just didn't pan out because most people interpret that as him emulating Nazi behavior. I can't believe I just said that. Now he did this. He said the N-word on a live stream, and it wasn't just the abbreviation version of it, the slang term. No, this was with the, as they say, a hard R, meaning he meant this shit. He meant it. It almost came from like the soul. And when something happens like that, when you are frustrated with something that is not necessarily dependent on whether or not somebody dies in real life, like it's not a life-changing type of thing like a video game, because as much as I love video games, I understand that they're not necessarily the thing that we should probably hinge our entire life or our entire livelihood on, even though PewDiePie does kind of sort of do that, being the most subscribed person on YouTube. But even to that extent, when you get mad at something like this, and the first thing that pops into your head to want to say is the N-word, something tells me you gotta check yourself. Because here's the deal. I saw a handful of good videos either defending PewDiePie, saying that, oh, it was taken out of context, when you're putting into his position, playing a video game and stuff like that, you get frustrated or whatever. When I'm playing a video game and I'm raging out, about to throw the controller at the screen or about to just punch a hole in the wall, I think the most critical thing that I would ever say would be chingada madre, which translates from Spanish to, you guessed it, motherfucker. And it's funny because I've told several people this. If I cuss in Spanish, that's when you know that I'm at my boiling point. That's when you know I'm about to fucking lose it, and nobody better be within a 5-foot radius of me, because I'm going to lay a firestorm upon you. Anyways, that's the harshest thing that I will think of to want to say in that furious moment. Never in a million years will I ever think, you know what, I'm going to say a racist epithet to express just how angry I am. And here's where this word is kind of separated from the others, because sure, there's histories behind words like motherfucker from the Brits over there with the term wanker, or so many other different derogatory terms. With the N-word, however, there is concrete evidence that that word is associated with something tragic that lasted for hundreds of years. It's in writing, it's documented, physically, verbally, it's been there. And we're still seeing remnants of that today. Most notably today in 2017, after the recent election and the things that's been happening in Charlottesville, it's the wrong time to be saying that word. And when that's the first thing that comes out of your mouth when you're playing a video game and not in a life or death situation that actually puts somebody or yourself in peril, then you got to really look at yourself and analyze what type of person you are. And furthermore, you need to look at what type of person you are if you don't come forward with an apology almost immediately. In fact, he did the contrary. He had the balls to make his next video that he posted a stream fails, or like top 10 stream fails ever type of video, where he looks at this shit and that kind of thing. And he didn't include himself, and he has the audacity to post that after his kerfuffle. Who does that? Now, I have no stake when it comes to PewDiePie. I've got to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of the guy. I've seen a handful of his videos, and his humor has never exactly been tailored to me. So many people who have come to the defense of PewDiePie and said, you know, he was taken out of context or whatever, they are loyalists. You know, they're loyal to PewDiePie, and sometimes, you know, when you're that loyal, you're blind to so many things. It's like they say, you know, love blinds. That whole terminology, that kind of applies here, because you know how many other people were saying about the last guy who was taken out of context? That last guy was this guy.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
And look where the country is now. Now, the reason for why this is somewhat of a passionate and touchy subject for me, especially when something big and incredible, terrible, but great, as Ollivander said from the first Harry Potter movie. The reason for why this kind of affects me is because this does have a rippling effect within the gaming community. I am a proponent of the gaming community, but more often than not, I play games that are single player. I stay off of the internet, I stay offline, I play either by my lonesome, or if I do manage to jump into a multiplayer game like Overwatch or whatever, then I more often than not mute the audio. I try not to talk to that many people, I'm not in the chat, I'm not doing anything. I just want to play, because that's the sole focus of video games, is to play. And by now, we should recognize that, yes, unfortunately, and I'm not going to defend it in any other way, the gaming community is one of the most toxic communities out there when it comes to artistic mediums, whether it be movies, games, novels, you know, video games, novels, comic books, music, literature, history, you know, so many divisions of things that we absolutely love and have a aspiration for. Video games is the one that's often attributed to sexism and racism, because of how often it is that you jump on a multiplayer game and the first thing that you hear, especially if you're a minority or if you're female, you hear some 11-year-old kid say, "I'm gonna fuck your mom," N-word.
Cause I keep hearing hermaphrodite this, suck cock that.
Go away.
What?
Fuck you! What the fuck?
After a while, that does get annoying. That does creep under people's skin, because not everyone's going to be as thick as others, and that in no way, shape, or form is that a bad thing or a wrong thing. It's just that we're all different people of different races, cultures, ethnicities, genders, and so on and so forth. And the gaming, I don't want to see the gaming community be tainted in this form of way, especially when you're dealing with a rather powerful figure like PewDiePie, because him being the most subscribed person on YouTube, he's got power, just like we have the motherfucker in power at the White House. He emboldens people, and PewDiePie saying that one word for that fraction of a second has the ability to embolden so many other folks saying, "Oh, PewDiePie said it, then I'm going to be able to see it." How many kids watch his streams? And how many kids are going to look at that and be like, "Oh, that's okay," and they're going to start saying it often and often and often, and it's going to spread like a fucking virus. So my thesis is that the gaming community needs a reform, because I don't want to be associated with sexism or racism should I ever get big enough to want to start doing my own live streams, to want to do video game let's plays or stuff like that, because of this guy ruining it for all of us, all of our other people. And he's already damaging things enough with being the most subscribed person, because of how I fail to see any kind of altruism coming from the guy, especially now after doing this thing and then again posting that video talking about the biggest stream fails, not including himself, and not even bothering to apologize to this date. So far, from what I can tell, this does not strike me as something that was just a slip up, as a mistake. It really doesn't. And I think that not only does PewDiePie need some kind of reform and consequences need to be met, and things need to be reprimanded, but also the gaming community overall needs some kind of reform. And I love that little by little, it's a battle that's not going to be won overnight, but I love that very powerful people within the gaming community, most notably developers, are taking a step ahead to want to do that. And most notably, one of the leading figures to do that is Blizzard, who did create Overwatch, because I know that Overwatch is one of those games that I'm not going to jump on there and the first thing that I'm going to hear is the N-word or telling people that they had sex with my mom or something like that, because they're conscious of that. They know that this is a very diverse game that appeals to so many audiences. They're not going to taint it. And I'm hoping that little by little that's going to be progress in the right direction for the gaming community, because I don't want people to not take gaming seriously, especially when we're in some kind of renaissance at this point, with so many games being more than just mindless action. We're telling great stories and fleshing out awesome characters with amazing voice talent behind these characters. I just don't want it to be screwed up now. So if you guys managed to be one of the few to watch this thing unfold in real time of PewDiePie dropping the N-word on that live stream, what are your thoughts about it? Overall, I don't know how else to really narrow that down, because of how much history that one word has. And it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. But still, I would love to know your guys' opinions on the matter. Do you guys follow PewDiePie in general? Are you a subscriber? Were you let down by watching this thing happen in real time, or do you think that this was kind of normal for PewDiePie and we're all blowing this out of proportion? I want to hear from all sides, because this is something that needs to be talked about ASAP before shit starts burning up. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment with your opinions, and subscribe for future content coming very soon. Until next time, guys, take care. These actors that are brimming with talent are turned into pieces of wood. The script even tries to give them some witty banter, and yet, because of how monotone they are, it just doesn't work.
Tell me about your dream.
Emote, you left testicle, emote.